Hello everybody and welcome to the 2018 MotoGP Esports Championship. After an incredible debut season in 2017, we're back in action for this year, and how exciting it is to be back. Now, 4 months ago, we kicked off this season with 4 challenges for the gamers to participate in. All across the world, they are here this weekend, the 12 fastest, and we'll be whittling that down to just 6. And to enjoy this first semi-final alongside me is Amy Dargan. Amy, good evening, welcome, and great to have you along.
Lots to look forward to tonight. We'll shortly reveal who the fastest 12 men were from the first set of online challenges before they battle out here tonight. But we should also mention, if you missed your spot in tonight's semi-final, do not panic. Another opportunity is coming up for you. More on that later on. But first, Tom, I feel like we're missing someone.
Amy, I am up here in what I've dubbed the bird's nest, here at a very sunny and rather toasty Misano, ready and waiting to see what happens in and unfolds in tonight's esports semi-final in Misano. Now, it's pretty spacious up here. Tom, there's a seat next to me, and it's got your name on it.
Tom, before you disappear off to join Matt, I think we need to find out what our contestants have had to do to make it here this evening. This was the 2018 road to the MotoGP Esports Semi-Final 1.
Well, Amy, it's not been an easy or a short road. The competition began at the end of July. The first challenge was riding Marc Marquez's Repsol Honda around one of his favourite circuits of the Americas in Austin. As you can see, from the 18th to the 22nd of July is when that took place. Challenge number 2 was at the end of July. That was on Bradley Smith's KTM at the Sachsenring circuit in Germany. Challenge 3 was the only nighttime challenge we have at the Losail International Circuit in Qatar on Aleix Espargaro's Aprilia. And the 4th challenge was the Suzuki of Andrea Iannone around the Red Bull Ring in Austria. It really has been a very exciting road here so far, and we're about ready for that to continue here tonight.
This year, the challenges have been available on even more platforms. In addition to PlayStation, our gamers here this evening have also been able to access the MotoGP game on Xbox and PC. You may be interested to know that everybody tonight is playing the PC version of the game with games controllers.
With here is like how realistic it is. Even what you can see, the fans, you know, in the grandstands, like everything's exactly how you would imagine. The more I play this game, the better I'm getting. Like, I might start getting addicted.
This year the graphics are incredible, especially the color, because now a lot of riders use the fluo colors, and I know that for the TV and for the video game is difficult, but are quite precise, and I like it.
What is fantastic is the evolution that this video game is having year by year is impressive. You need to be more precise with everything, with the brake, with the throttle, with the gears. You cannot make mistakes.
All the colors, the bike position, looks very similar. But I need more laps to understand. I'm very bad about the lines.
This year is really realistic, and the graphics are unbelievable. Actually, I'm in shock because it's difficult sometimes to feel the difference between the reality and the game. The bike is perfect, the circuit is perfect, uphill, downhill, so improving a lot.
It's a good game to play with your friends, you know. You can T-bone them even if you're not so fast. You start to hit them and you can still win the race. And there's no race direction, which makes it even better.
Bello, però it's good. 18 is good. I never tried before. When I start with a new game, the first 1 hour I take other rider because I make a lot of mistakes, a lot of crashes. And when I'm ready, I take myself.
So it certainly looks like the MotoGP riders on the grid were fans of the game. That was a quick teaser as to what they've been up to, but perhaps, Amy, not quite to the same standards as our 12 semi-finalists here tonight.
We'll have to wait and see. Now listen, only 6 men will make it through to the grand finale in Valencia. The nerves, the excitement are about to get cranked up a notch. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to meet our first lot of semi-finalists.
Absolutely right there, Amy. And for our first challenge, which as we saw was Marc Marquez's Repsol Honda around the Circuit of the Americas in Austin, please welcome our PlayStation winner, Andrew ZH, our Xbox winner, and last year's world champion, no less, Trastevere 73, and our PC winner from Great Britain, Suomi. Please take your seats here this evening.
From our second challenge, please take a seat. Our PlayStation winner, Adrian 26. Our Xbox winner, Juan NH16, and our PC winner, Luigi 48GP.
Well, we'll let them take their seats for our third challenge. Please take a seat. Our PlayStation winner, Christian MM17, our Xbox competitor, the top competitor from this challenge, that was Timothy McGarden 61, and the PC winner was Ivan Ivea.
And from the fourth challenge, please take a seat. The PlayStation winner, Ellie Ghost 555. The Xbox winner, Ioti Ferrossi. And the PC winner, Paul IG.
Well, they've all taken their seats tonight, and we wish every single one of them the very best of luck. But we need to give them a bit of time to get prepared and get them on their A game, so to speak, Amy.
Well, whilst they get themselves set up, let's take a look at what they've been up to so far here in Misano. Something tells me they're pretty big MotoGP fans. Well, that looks like a fine way to start the weekend, if you ask me. Now, listen, we are almost ready for our first battle of the evening. It is almost time for qualifying, but before we say too much, Matt, Tom, we're coming over to you in commentary.
Thank you very much there, Amy, and welcome up to the commentary box then. And I say we, because alongside me is the voice of Moto2 and Moto3 free practice commentary. It's Matt Dunn. Matt, great to have you here. These guys, though, they've been pretty busy over the last few days.
Yeah, it's been very busy indeed. I'm sure with you and me in the commentary box, everybody is regretting watching this in HD. But enough of that. It's not. I can't wait to see what's going to be happening later on today. Qualifying followed by the race. But of course, it's not actually the first time these competitors have been in this arena. They've been here just as long as the riders have. Whilst they've been getting in the practice on the track, these guys have been getting in the practice off it, getting used to the arena and their surroundings. And, well, I also hope they've remembered the rules and warnings that the race director gave them. Got to be on your best behaviour in this esports game.
Certainly have there, Matt. You're absolutely right there. We saw last year in the season finale in Valencia, of course, race direction coming down like a ton of bricks on some riders who were exceeding track limits and perhaps just pushing that limit a little bit too far. So they've been getting some tips from race direction. And speaking of tips as well, let's have a little look at a video because Danilo Petrucci, of course, last year here nearly took his maiden MotoGP win. It wasn't to be for him, but he certainly knows this Misano World Circuit, Marco Simoncelli, pretty well.
So we are in Misano. Turn 1 is right one, with then immediately a left and a right. There are 3 corners in a row. Very, very difficult. You have to stay quite tight to the curb. Then turn 4 is an hard braking area. And with turn 5 is a unique corner. You have to be on the right. Then this corner 6 is very important because there is a long straight. And this is the hard braking area of turn Quercia, the name is. It's a left-hander. Then there is turn 8 and 9. And the name is Tramonto, sunshine. Very, very important because there is one big straight. At the end there is a long corner. Very, very fast in 6th gear. I'm a little bit slow. Then all right, and at the end we have an hairpin. And then the last 2 left, Misano 1 and Misano 2. Very, very flowing and fast. And this is the last corner. But I go out of track and my lap was not valid. So I'm very happy to see you fighting. I hope in Misano will be a very good battle, and it's important because last time an Italian won, and I hope in Valencia to see another Italian e-rider winning the eSport Championship. Ciao.
Ladies and gentlemen, that should be. Please join in welcoming to the stage Danilo Petrucci. Ciao. Now, the first thing I was going to ask you was, nice game face there. Is that the same face that is under the helmet when you're out there on track?
No, I just discovered that I'm much faster on the real bike than on video games, and it is quite strange for normal people. But I was not so well trained. Just the first lap was.
I was impressed, I'm not going to lie. The other thing I was rather impressed is that you were able to speak whilst gaming. Now, was that the reality? Could you do the onboard commentary?
Was quite difficult to do the lap with the joystick and do the commentary. And yeah, I think at least the worst thing I did was driving the bike because I speak so well. I ride the bike quite well, but playing eSport I discovered was not. I have a really fun, but I think this guy are really much faster than me.
I think you're being modest. So listen, we are here in Misano. It's an important race weekend for you. How's it been going so far?
Quite well. We have not been here for testing, so we have to close the gap to the guys who have been tested here, but we are there. We are not so far, and today we are in 6th position. We have some areas to improve, so I'm quite confident for tomorrow. And the target for today was to be in the top 10, because with this weather we don't know if it's gonna rain or not, so at least we are safe. I can go sleep quite relaxed, but if tomorrow will be dry, there is always pre-qualifying in FP3, but I think we are ready.
Today we've been really lucky with the weather, but Danilo, you don't really strike me as someone who's going to be too upset if we get a little bit of rain tomorrow. You're pretty good in the wet here.
Yeah, I'm quite good. Everyone is expecting me very fast under the rain. But yeah, I'm quite fast, but I am always scared to crash. I don't know where or when I crash on the rain. Maybe for that reason I'm faster than anyone. That I don't understand when I'm going to crash.
Well, you've given us a few tips there on the video game, but these guys are getting extremely close to qualifying time now. So any last-minute bits of advice for everyone?
No, if they see me playing, they don't accept advice from me. I only say best of luck to them, and I watched very with a lot of fun. The final last year in Valencia was like a final. It was a really race, and was very funny. And I hope today to see another qualifying and a race, and a very good one.
It's been an absolute pleasure to have you drop by here with us tonight. Good luck for qualifying, and we'll see you soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ciao.
Ladies, Danilo Petrucci, thank you.
Right, so I believe it's time to... I was going to actually compliment Danilo Petrucci and say that, well, these guys better pay attention to all those tips, but maybe only tips actually on the actual track. Not. Seems like these guys could teach him a lesson instead.
Yeah, certainly does there, Matt, as you say. And Danilo Petrucci, of course, a rider who really does know this Misano World Circuit, Marco Simoncelli, quite well. Not quite as well as our 12 finalists who are here this evening, though, as well. They've been practicing left, right and centre over the last few days, haven't they, Matt? They've been pretty busy.
Yeah, very busy indeed. Lots of practice time, and, well, yeah, like you say, I think they could probably teach Danilo a few things or two, a couple of red balls down, keep yourself stimulated, and we'll be ready for qualifying. But we'll be getting qualifying underway pretty soon. But who's your money on for this one, Tom?
Well, it's hard really to look past the likes of Trastevere last year, Mandzukic as well. He finished runner-up. Trastevere, of course, last year's world champion. There's a few new faces in there as well. We've got 4 new riders on the grid for this first semi-final. And as Amy said earlier on as well, let's not forget that even if they don't make it through to the top 6 here, they've got that chance for that second semi-final taking place in October at the Esports Centre in Madrid. It's going to be pretty exciting, that, isn't it?
Yeah, well, yeah, and also a special holiday to Madrid. I mean, who wouldn't want that? So maybe someone's going to play a blinder here and, try and get a second holiday out of it. I'd prefer a weekend in Madrid, not going to lie.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, wouldn't we all? You can see the gamers there on your screen at the moment. They're getting themselves psyched up and ready. There is the reigning champion, Trastevere. He's lined up, he's ready. He's been a busy boy over the last few months as well, especially in the immediate aftermath of the MotoGP Esports final in Valencia. And it's about time then to get qualifying underway here this evening. So without further ado, let's head over and get ready to go for qualifying. So here we are then at the Misano World Circuit, Marco Simoncelli.
Yes, absolutely. A great example of just the quality of the graphics that we have here in the 2018 game. Some excellent shots from all over the world. This will be Kota.
Yep, absolutely. Looking at the Red Bull Ring in Austria as well. A fantastic circuit, one, of course, that's always full of drama. Likewise, the Saxonry as well, that unpredictable climate. Qatar, the only night race we have on the calendar, kicking off the 2018 season. The riders, though, heading out of pit lane. It's a 10-minute qualifying session. At the end of those 10 minutes, of course, we'll decide and we'll know who is going to be lining up where on the grid. We should state that the riders have chosen the bikes that they were on. They chose that yesterday afternoon, so you can see them all heading out of pit lane and getting ready to go onto the circuit for the first time. Now, a couple of things to mention here as well as they go out onto the track. Of course, dry weather conditions, as you can see. If they do come off their bike at any time, they'll be reset. Of course, that lap will be invalidated. They'll have to go around and do that again. And with only a 10-minute timer here, Matt, on the clock, it really does mean that the pressure is on.
Yeah, a very short time limit and about a 1:25, 26 second lap or so. They really cannot afford to crash too many times on this one.
No, certainly can't. Well, we're riding on board then. This is the reigning world champion, Trastevere 73. He chose the factory Ducati, a bike that's been working quite well for him so far in the free practice session we had yesterday, the free practice sessions we've had so far today. It's been very tight in terms of the times, but Trastevere has pretty much dominated all of them. He was fastest earlier on this afternoon in the sessions.
Yeah, and I tell you what, did actually see some mind games yesterday in the bike choice. A few guys, they really wanted certain machines. I saw someone really wanted that Avintia Ducati, but no, someone else got it before him. He finished quicker than he did in the free practice sessions. So you see mind games out on the track. We've seen plenty, especially in that press conference on Thursday. And it's no different here in MotoGP Esports.
Absolutely. One thing to mention as well is that all of these guys, great sportsmanship between them. We saw all of the gamers going around shaking each other's hands before we went live earlier on this afternoon. We're just looking at the riders coming over the timing line and setting their first representative lap times. That's Andrew ZH on the Repsol Honda. He's in front. On the Aprilia, you can see just behind as well. That is the number 48. That's Luigi 48 GP, a rider who will be familiar to you if you are a fan of the MotoGP Esports Championship in 2017. Italian rider, Italian motorcycle, and Italian circuit. Seems like a bit of a match made in heaven.
We have a crash in the background there, Tom. That was it's Trastevere.
That's the reigning champion. Yep, he's gone down. So in the opening sector, it's a very tight and twisty first sector here at Misano, Matt, as well. Very easy to tuck the front. One thing as well that we should mention on this MotoGP 18 video game is that as we've got another crash as well, that's Mandzukic down again, or Christian MM17 as he's known this year. He's just tucked the front once
Come on, Tom,
more.
that was so last year.
Absolutely, but back up to date with this year. But as we were saying, yeah, the MotoGP 18 video game really is incredibly realistic. The physics have taken a brilliant step forward, and the riders are saying you really don't know when you're going to tuck the front. It's very much more like riding a real motorcycle.
No, you really don't. And on this huge screen we've got in front of us, you can really see the effect that the bumps have on this circuit as well, just like that out on the real one, just a couple of 100 metres to our right. It is really, really tricky, just as in the game as it can be out in real life as well. And Tom, I can't help but notice as well, I love the customization that they have on these bikes. With the game, you really can customize pretty much everything. Your helmet, your number, your boots. Pink, bit of an outward choice there, but I dig it.
It seems to be working for Juan NH16, though. He's gone for the top of the timesheets, the first rider to set a representative lap time. But the Repsol Honda of Andrew ZH has gone immediately faster as well. Lap times coming in pretty thick and fast now. Just to mention, the tower graphic on the left-hand side of your screen as well, where you can see the red triangles under their names. That means that that lap time has been disallowed for one reason or another. That could be due to a crash, or it could be due to them exceeding track limits. And speaking of having a crash as well, Ellie Ghost 555, a new name for this year. He's had a slight crash on his first flying lap there, so a bit of a shame for him, but let's see if he's going to be able to try and turn things around in the last 5 minutes of this session.
Yeah, 6 or so minutes to go at the moment. I tell you what, I've not seen a fluorescent yellow on a Repsol Honda like that for some years. Oh, Trastevere has gone down again. Whereabouts is that down at, did it say turn 3? I think it is. He'll be restarting shortly. He can't, we said this at the beginning of the session, Tom, we cannot afford for these guys to have too many crashes, because there's just one more invalidated lap, 1 minute 20 odd to get round, 1 minute 26, one of the fastest laps so far. 5 minutes left. Hey, that's what, 3 laps left you can get?
Absolutely, yeah, maximum really. They're going to be really harrying these bikes around, trying to set those fastest lap times and trying not to push themselves too far past the limit here as well. Looking at the Alma Pramac Ducati, this is Ivan Evea. He's down in 11th position here so far, a name again that was in the final in Valencia last year. He's set fastest times in the first sector, fastest time in the second sector, personal best in that third sector, and as he comes out of the final corner here and over the timing line, what is he going to be able to do in terms of lap times, Ivan Evea? Well, he does improve, and he goes up to the outside of the front row in third position.
Hey, Tom, keep your eye on Christian MM17 coming out the final corner as well. He's going on to into the final sector, and he's the one who goes top now on the Angel Nieto team Ducati. That is a really quick time, 1:26. 2.60. But look at these guys. They're all putting personal best sectors in now. It's all coming down to crunch time, really. Squeaky bum time, as Sir Alex Ferguson would say.
Absolutely right. And you can see on that
Oh,
tower
and he's
graph-
gone down. That's Christian MM17, but he's straight up and back going, of course, because it's a video game. And that's his invalidated lap, though. First sector, he's got to go all the way round, back to start and finish straight again. Not good news for Otto Ferrossi either.
Yep, same crash for him as well. You can see on that tower graphic as well, it does give you the gaps between the different rides. It gives the sector times and also gives the lap time after they have set it. You can see Christian MM17, the fastest man in this session. He is 0.05 of a second faster than Andrew ZH at the moment. Here is Ivan Avea then, knocked off the front row, heading the second row of the grid at the moment on board this Alma Pramet Ducati through those decreasing radius right-handers. Looking pretty handy here as well.
Yeah, and just look at that on your timing screens. How many invalidated lap times are these guys on at the moment? It's really not looking good. It's clearly feeling a bit of the pressure. This is their first time turning a wheel in anger on the esports game, so to speak, here in Misano. But, well, got a couple of minutes left now. How much can these guys deal with the pressure? Some more personal best sectors coming in. Trastevere is on some red sectors as well. That's looking pretty impressive from him. He goes top now.
Brilliant stuff from the reigning champion. Then he is to the top of the timing sheets with just over 3.5 minutes remaining of this session. Trastevere 73 hits the front. Ellie goes 5.55 as well on a personal best. What's he going to be able to do? Improves in time but not position. Riding on board with the reigning champion, harrying that Ducati GP18 through the first sector. Christian MM17 second on the grid. He's gone down again though.
And I tell you what, I know it just looks kind of spectacular. I mean, you got that change of direction there, the front wheel comes in the air, but that's what the riders were talking about in that VT before this. It's a very realistic game. You can lose the front there if you get a bit too throttle happy on the changeover of direction there.
Certainly can do. It really can put pain. More invalidated lap times coming in. Luigi 48 GP at the moment. He is having an absolute shocker, Matt, down in 7th position. On the third row of the grid is where he'll line up if it finishes as it is, but he's got another invalidated lap time. He's going to have to pull out all the stops here with just a maximum of 2 flying laps in.
Ivan Avela's also had a crash. He just that was pulled up and down at turn 11. I think that was the very, very fast right-hander. Saw Moto3 bikes going through there today, completely full throttle max lead. Absolutely awesome that was. Got the final turn here.
Fastest final sector for Andrew Z8 on the Repsol Honda over the line he goes, and he goes to the top of the timesheets by 1.6 tenths of a second. So it's the Repsol Honda on pole position. What can Trastevere 73 do though? Can he spoil the party of Honda? He can as he comes over the line, but he can't because he loses a bit of time in that final sector, and it's just 0.03 of a second separating those top two now.
Yeah, but I must say this does look as though if the form is anything like this in the race, could it be a 2-horse race? Have we got a Moto3 style battle between Martin and Bezzecchi? Is it going to be like Oliveira and Bagnaia? Two guys going at it, hammer and tong, although 2/10 a lap. Well, we'll have to see, but we've got 2 more crashes there. That was Suomi who just went down. Where did he go down? Was that in the first sector as well?
Could have been, yep. It's a very popular place to go down for Suomi there. So disappointment for him. He's down in 9th position so far. The only Briton on the grid here this weekend. I was chatting to him before we got underway this afternoon, asking him exactly how he felt. He said he was pretty calm, pretty confident, but still a few nerves jangling there. And the last thing you want to do is make a Horlicks if you're qualifying, because you're certainly going to be knowing about it come race time later on this evening. We're on board with the Suzuki. That's Adrian 26 going through the ever decreasing radius. Right-handers fully banked over. Absolute commitment from the Suzuki rider then. And what is he going to be able to do at the moment in this stage of the session? It's not much because he's dropped time in that second sector. He's dropped time in that third sector. He's just going to have one more flying lap here, Matt.
Yeah, and they got to watch that turn 15 as well. Plenty of riders in that final sector. It's causing a lot of problems for riders out in free practice today. Saw a fair few crashes down there. Can we see any more in this particular session? 1 minute to go.
Luigi 48 GP improves. He's up to 7th position on the Red Bull KTM, and a crash as well. That's one NH16 that has gone down. So Juan, he's not number 1 at the moment. He's going to have...
Oh, God, Neil made that joke earlier. It's even worse now.
Well, there you go. And he's going to have some serious work to do to pull himself out of the deficit. And in fact, he won't have any time to do that because, of course, the clock is counting down. That was his final flying lap. So he's going to be starting from the very, very back of the grid here for Juan. That's big disappointment. Even Avea's gone down on his final lap as well. 6th position will be the best of asking then for Ivan. Out of the final corner comes Iotti for Rossi. Italian on Italian bike.
Yeah.
Over the line. What's he going to be able to do? Nothing really, unfortunately. Stays 11th fastest.
Hey, Tom, these guys, they're all going to... You got 4, 5, 6, 7 maybe guys there who are all on invalid laps, including the reigning champion, and there's no way they're making it round in 5 seconds. this could be over, Tom.
Yeah, looks like it's going to be deciding the grid, as you say there, Matt. We're looking at Luigi 48GP. He's one of only four riders who hasn't invalidated their lap time so far, but he's gone down. Oh, Luigi 48GP on what could have potentially been a bit of a spoil to the party, throws it all the way in that third and final sector of the lap, and he will start at best 7th position as the checkered flag is now out. Let's have a look at a replay here, Matt. Talk us through.
Just completely lost the front end, looked a little bit wide on entry, too much front brake, tuck the front, and good night. You are starting from a little bit down the order for the race.
Yep, comes out of the line, out of the final corner and over the line.
Quality
Big wheelie
wheelie
there for Trastevere. Tell you what, Iotti for Rossi actually, personal best lap time. He got over the line just before that checkered flag came out here, Matt. We ride on board with the Aprilia rider, and he is looking very handy here. He's improving in time on a personal best. Will it bump him a little bit further up the order than second to last on the grid through that final sector? That Aprilia RSGP, a little bit wide through the right-hander. Could that be his undoing here?
Well, we should know he made it safely through there. Did he take too much curb there?
He has. He's invalidated the lap.
Oh, no. What a disaster. Well, Arnie's taken a little bit too much curb on the final corner as well, but a solid wheelie over the line. Could do with a little bit of improvement there, but what a session that was. These guys are feeling the pressure, Tom. Let's get a look at the results.
Absolutely, very exciting. So final confirmation then. Andrew ZH on the Repsol Honda is on pole position. Trastevere 73, Christian MM 17 completes your front row. Row 2 headed by El Ghost 555, Adrian 26 in the Luigi 48 GP. Alongside him, Ivan Avea, Timothy McGarden, Suomi on row 3. And the final row of the grid, Paul IG, Iotti for Rossi. And as we saw there at the back of the grid as well, the final rider making it up, that's 1 NH16. So that is the grid. That is how it will sit ahead of semi-final 1 here this evening, Matt.
Yes, what a session that was. And some pretty elaborate times there, all in those 126s. But how will they manage to close in on those 10s throughout the race? And clearly pressure getting to a lot of people. This could be a bit of a crash fest, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Those first couple of sectors are going to be very, very important here, Matt, this evening. So let's see what we're going to be able to do. A bit of a slug of water there for Trastevere 73 as he just gets himself ready to go. We're going to be having a look at some highlights from this session here, Matt, as well, trying to find out the best bits and see what has happened over the course of that 10-minute qualifier.
Well, I'll tell you what, a lot did happen. Obviously, the riders all left the track and straight for an out lap, only a 10-minute session, but so many invalidated laps so early on. In this first sector, you've got to be very, very cautious around there, especially on an outlap. The tyres could be quite cool, easy to let go. And also, well, talk about feeling the pressure, how sweaty your hands getting throughout this sort of thing. We saw someone last year, can't exactly remember who it was, wearing gloves to combat some anti-sweat. There's Trastevere, the reigning champion there on the Ducati, although that was Christian MM17 coming very, very close behind him. He has really got that turn 10 dialed in. Here we are coming into the final corner, and that Aprilia, Iotti for Rossi there coming across the finish line to start those the first flying lap or so. It is a long lap round here in Misano, 1:26 seconds, 1 minute 26, and we're only 10 minutes. Well, a bit of stuff there, and we can see I could do with some of that tape on my nose as well to keep my glasses from slipping down in this sort of heat. And we saw a big crash there from Christian MM17. That was one of his invalidated laps. Pretty much the story of qualifying these invalidated laps. Exceeding track limits, crashing, feeling the pressure. These guys, they can cut a little bit more curb than their on-track co-workers, you might say, as they're not going to lose so much grip. Look at those concentrated faces. Trastevere thundering down the back straight on that high horsepower Ducati. At this point, we're down at 3 minutes to go. It looked as though he was going to get pole at this particular time. Very, very treacherous turn 8. And don't forget as well, just like on the real bikes as well, that left-hander, it's a long time between that and the final left-handers we have in the final sector. Just before the finish line, easy to let the front end go. And here we are, we're going to be crossing the finish line, and that was qualifying. So we're going to be ready to race pretty soon, Tom and Amy.
We are indeed, but first things first, we've got to deliver our poleman his award. So please join me here on the stage, our poleman here in Misano, Andrew ZH. And let's give him a round of applause. That was a brilliant effort. Andrew, this weekend we're keeping things as close as possible to a normal MotoGP weekend. So for your reference there in qualifying, we have our lovely lady here to hand you your Tissot T-Race MotoGP 2018 Special Edition watch. Congratulations. Thank you, well done, and good luck for the race now.
I'll tell you what, it really doesn't get much better than that, does it, Amy? Congratulations to Andrew ZH. He will start then on pole position ahead of the first semi-final coming up in just a few moments' time. Now, we had a look at the MotoGP riders on the MotoGP 18 video game earlier on this evening. However, we saw them going around the circuit in a pretty controlled manner, but it doesn't always quite go according to plan for them, as we're now going to have a look at.
Pronto, 1, 2, 3, mi sentito?
In the face.
Así me voy a viciar y me voy a quedar aquí toda la tarde.
Fica normal que
Awesome, but I'm not like that.
That's an ugly face if I've ever seen one.
Molt heavy.
Bellissimo. Míralo. Saludando y todo.
Turn 12, and I crash.
Qué mal.
Because it's a big uphill, but then...
Here I have my friend over there.
Invalid lap. Oh no.
I'm very bad to play.
Yow. Oddio. No! No.
There were some extremely strange noises coming out of those riders there. I'm wondering if any of you guys make similar sounds. Hopefully not. But anyway, it's almost time for the main piece of business here this evening. We are getting ready to race. How are you guys feeling? Fingers wiggling? Hopefully not too much. Right, Matt, Tom, it's back down to you. It's race time.
Well, Amy, thank you very much. And we're back up here in the commentary box then, ready for what is set to be an absolutely corking race here this evening, Matt. It was very close in qualifying, lots of unpredictability coming in, quite a few crashes essentially there as well. So there's so much to talk about before we get this one underway, and where do we start?
Well, so much to talk about, so little time. In pole position, Andrew ZH, but the times are pretty tight. 126s throughout, but that inconsistency, these guys cutting lap times, getting it a bit too close to the apex. Race direction might have to get involved, maybe a few too many crashes. What about those sweaty palms? It's pretty hot up here. I could probably do with a few tissues. Don't know about these guys. They probably need to cool off as well beforehand.
Absolutely right there, Matt. These guys getting themselves pretty primed and ready. And special mention to Ivan Avea as well, because he's managed to combat that problem with a pair of gloves, which hopefully we'll see a bit of a close-up.
He has got the gloves now.
He has got the gloves,
someone did last year, but I
yeah,
couldn't
that was the
remember
same
who it
guy.
was. Oh, there you go.
It was the same guy, and he's got the gloves. You can see them there, a bit of a close-up to these gloves. That stops the sweaty palms on those gamepads.
Hey, we better finish up quick, because he's got to go and sort out a snooker game after this.
He certainly has. He's going to be... it's not a referee in snooker. I can't remember what the term is now, but he'll be getting himself primed and ready, as are we here in the commentary box. It's going to be a 10-lap race here at the Misano World Circuit. Marco Simoncelli, as we mentioned earlier on, the top 6 from this semi-final will automatically progress through to that grand final in Valencia. It does make it very exciting, and of course, let's not forget that if they finish from 7th down to 12th, they've still got another chance to qualify in the following 4 challenges for the second semi-final event taking place at the Movistar Esports Centre in Madrid at the start of October.
Yeah, well, what on earth is about to unfold in front of our very eyes? Let's find out. It is race time here in Misano.
So 10 laps then of semi-final 1 here at the Misano World Circuit. Marco Simoncelli here in Italy. Revs will be rising. Wait for those red lights to come on the top of your screen. Andrew ZH, Trastevere 73 and Christian MM 17 on the front row of your grid. Red lights on then here at Misano, and it is going to be lights out, and away we go in a very good start from the front row of the grid, with a brilliant getaway as well for Trastevere 73, and also as well Christian MM 17. He takes the lead and down to the first corner.
Oh, Sortarad is down there. Oh, dearie me. Oh, and another one down at Turtus Adrian 26. It's absolutely absolute carnage in Misano.
Slow-me's down, the Britain has gone down, about 3 riders down in the first couple of corners, exactly what we feared here in Misano, but the upshot is that Christian MM17 leads the way, and Luigi 48GP, who started way back on the 3rd row of the grid, is up in second place.
Oh
Look at
my
that!
goodness, they've just been sent into space. They're going to say hi to our mate Drew Fustel. Oh my goodness.
Dear oh dear. Well, Luigi 48GP's kept a cool head. He's still in second place on that Red Bull KTM bike. Ellie Ghost 555 up there in 3rd position on the Mobistar Yamaha. Further back you can see quite a big gap already very pronounced at the top of your screen. Just to mention on the tower graphic on the left hand side of your screen, the riders' names who are in white, the top 6 will be going through to the grand final in Valencia. If they're 7th downwards, that means that they will not be progressing upwards at this stage.
Hey man, we were talking about pressure, and well, Christian MM17, he's got both the most pressure on his shoulders right now, and also the least. How much can he keep his cool? He was pretty fast last year, and he's got quite a gap out there at the moment. He has actually increased that gap, 0.8 of a second right now. Can he keep his head cool?
One of the riders we didn't mention, Matt, who went down in that first corner melee was Trastevere 73, so the reigning champion, as you can see, at the bottom of the order at the moment, not where the Italian wanted to be. He's going to have to put out some serious legwork at the moment. Speaking of legwork as well, 10th position, an overtake there. Paul IG making his way up the order. He's now ahead of Iossi Ferrossi. So the number 7 moves his way up into the top 10 for the first time in this race. You can see at the bottom left corner of your screen, that's race direction. They are keeping a very keen eye on track limits, and it's just to mention as well, when these riders come over the timing line, if there are any penalties to be handed out, they will be subject to race directions viewing.
Yeah, exactly. We'll be going through the race results, but they will be subject to review from the race director. We'll have to wait till he confirms those positions. But he had a warning then from Iotto Ferrossi. He's got himself involved in a pretty big battle there with Paul IG. Goodness me, it's like an absolute ding-dong battle out there. It's something like we saw in Valencia last year. Goodness me.
Very, very close indeed. So coming down towards those ever-decreasing radius right-hand corners, down the back straight, in towards turn 11, a very fast corner. You can see the elbows dragging on the floor for these riders. You can see a move being made there. Andrew Z8 straight up the inside of Timothy McGarden. Brilliant stuff from him. Does he run it a bit wide on exit, but he gathers it up, and he manages to hold on to that position. So Andrew Z8 up inside the top 4. That's enough for him. It doesn't matter really where he finishes inside the top 6. He's just got to make his way up through the order, as has Trastevere 73, Matt. He's up into 11th place.
Yeah, that was such a quality move. Really messed up his line after that. You can see it. He really couldn't get his way around the corner on the proper line that he wanted. Square it up. Fastest lap though. Oh, that was for Luigi 48GP, but before that, Christian MM17. That was the fastest lap for him. So very, very impressive. Look at that change over there though. Hey, taking a bit too much curve there. Got to watch that. Race direction might have to get involved.
Absolutely right. We're looking at Andrew ZXN. This is your pole sitter now in 4th position. Just behind him is the LCR Honda of Timothy McGarden. Missed out on a top 3 position last year, did the German rider. Somebody running well wide in the background. That was Juan NH16. And just to show how unpredictable this race has been, Juan started down in 12th position and he's now up inside the top 6. Here's Trastevere though, making a move on Iossi Ferrossi again. These guys having a right ding-dong battle as they come down in towards turn number 8. He gets the move done, but these guys pretty evenly matched for pace. And the problem here is, Matt, they're squabbling amongst one another. They're not making that progress through the field that they need to be.
Well, exactly, but you've got to be in front in order to actually make some kind of hayway up the field. But look at this, they're the whole length of the back, straight back from first position. Lap 3, 7 laps to go, 6 laps to go. I'm not sure if they can do it, Tom.
No, it's going to be very, very tight indeed. Iossi Ferrossi then down in last position. Meanwhile, the leader on board the number 63, that's Christian MM17. He's got a clear track in front of him. He's not got too much of a threat from behind as well. Luigi 48GP there in 2nd position. He's got more close company. Ellie goes 555 and Andrew ZH nipping at his heels as Ellie goes 555 also sets the fastest lap last time around. The Mobistar Yamaha rider is looking very menacing as we look behind the race leader at the moment here, Matt. It's probably going to be a case of when and not if he thinks about a move.
Yeah, absolutely. Meanwhile, you got Christian MM17 heading over. Oh, he has gone wide. Oh, that's really messed it all up for him there, isn't it? It's completely messed up this first sector, and it's pretty much one line through there. If you mess it all up coming onto the back straight, you've really, really missed out on that run down to the tight left-hander.
Yeah, absolutely. So he has sold himself a dummy, unfortunately, outbrakes himself in towards turn number 4. Another warning for Juan NH16. He's in 6th position currently. If he gets a penalty from race direction here, if he finishes in 6th place, that could potentially knock him down outside of that all-important top 6. It really is important to just keep your nose a bit clean.
That turn 10 sort of corner there, that little complex we have just before the back straight, very, very tricky. You can really mess up your fire out onto the back straight. Look at this though, running wide on those curves, and it's so bumpy through there from Z11. Fast right-hander, pretty much flat out in MotoGP Esports.
Andrew ZH there just exceeding track limits a little bit as he went through turn number 12. The elbow was very much on the inside of the curve there. You can still see on that graphic on the right-hand side of your screen, Iossi Ferrasti and Trastevere 73 still going side by side for most of the part, and they are battling pretty heavily at the moment as we now come into the halfway stage of this race.
Yeah, very, very clear as well that Christian MM17 is in a proper rhythm now. That's 8 tenths again. He's maintaining that gap very, very well, keeping calm, keeping cool. And, well, seems to be got a dominant lead right now ahead of Luigi 48 GP.
Very impressive, though, for these riders who did come a cropper in that first corner, first lap incident, really, because they have made up some significant ground. And you can see with the graphic on the bottom right-hand side of your screen, that track map there, just how close they all are, given what happened on that opening lap. It's still very impressive regardless. Here's 1H NH16. We've seen him have a warning from race direction. We've seen an overtake as well for second place as well. Andrew ZH rather up into second, now ahead of Luigi 48 GP, Matt.
Yeah, and well, I was getting a bit mesmerised there by the onboard angle view, I must admit. But this is turning into a cracking little battle there for second position. Of course, like you said earlier, doesn't really matter. These guys, if they're in the top 6, they're all through. They're just playing for pride.
Absolutely right. You can see already the gap that Andrew ZH is pulling out. Incident between number 61, Timothy McGarden, and who else is this going to be? Number 58, Trastevere 73, last year's champion, and Luigi 48 GP under investigation. So that will be the first corner skirmish that Race Direction have had a very stiff word about, and big words as well. Big drama for Ivan Evea. He has crashed on lap 5 and is going right down to the bottom of your timesheets here, Matt.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, apart from those first laps on a melee, we've not had any crashes for quite a while. Everything has sort of settled down. It just goes to prove, just like the on-track out there, first laps really count if they could get a little bit crazy, especially here as well. Oh, we're getting all sorts of crossed up as we're trying to climb it all over the back of that KTM in this first sector. Got to be so careful here, though. That turn 3, turn 4 or so can be really, really treacherous with you on the tarmac out there or on the game in here.
So through the left hand, looking at Luigi 48 GP, nipping at his heels now is Ellie Ghost 555 on that Movistar Yamaha. Down towards turn number 8 they go. Still lining pretty astern at the moment, but let's not forget, of course, these guys going incredibly quickly, and also going incredibly quickly is this man here, Trastevere 73. He is on a right charge at the moment. He's made his way up into 10th position, but he's running out of time here to make his way up the order. He's trying to muscle his way past Paul IG. These guys very familiar indeed, and here comes Iossi Ferrasti straight at the inside of Trastevere. Trastevere tries to find his way back through once again, and you can see a warning as well from Race Direction. He's exceeding track limits a bit too much for their liking. This is getting very hot under the collar.
Tom, he was focusing way too much on the guy in front there. He left the door wide open, and now Blitzerski on the inside. Who was that?
That was 1H16 who's gone down from 6th position, so he is going to be out of the grand final at this race here, Matt. He's going to have a lot of work to do in those last 4 laps, and it's Christmas come early for Adrian 26. He's now into the grand final.
Tom, this is absolutely fantastic, I must admit. What a drama we have for number 16 there. Well, you say he might be out and it might be dream over. He can still get to Madrid, mate.
Yeah, he certainly can do. Of course, let's not forget the second lot of challenges as he comes and tips it into that left-hand of this one. If he doesn't make it on this cut, he's got those last 4 challenges to make his way through. It's going to be very tight indeed.
That's going very wide. Race Direction going to have a look at that one. That is well over track limits.
And let's not forget that's Lowe's first incident, somebody down in the background. Who was that?
And down right in front of him as well. It's a Ferrasti, was that?
It was Iossi Ferrasti, and Suomi, the Briton's gone down, so disaster for him. And Paul IG, what is happening in the latter stages of this one? It's getting very close and very, very exciting. More warnings coming in from Race Direction. Lots of crashes taking place all over the shop, really, as these riders are just pushing the limits that little bit too far in the order to make themselves up into that top 6.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Tom, I think they smelled blood from 1NH16 going down. They all thought, hey, there's a 6th place position here up for grabs if I can do it. 3 or so laps left. And then they're just pushing those limits a little bit too much. Might have counted themselves out of the race completely.
Well, they're going to have a very hard task to catch up with Adrian 26, because the nearest competitor to him now, against all the odds, is 1NH16, and he's 2.1 seconds adrift of Adrian 26th at the moment. So he's going to have a lot of work to do. Have to hope for some kind of a mistake, really, from Adrian to try and progress himself up inside that top 6. No such dramas for this man here, though. The race leader, Christian MM17. He's got an 0.8 of a second buffer over the rest of the field.
He has absolutely kept that lead immaculate. He knows exactly what he's doing, running exactly the same pace as the two men behind him. Meanwhile, Luigi 48 GP has managed to see a little bit of daylight between himself and the man ahead. Not the little bit of daylight he would like to see by any stretch. Andrew ZH is not exactly closing in on Christian MM17. A lot of work to do, but still 3 or so laps left.
Incredible stuff. Riding then with the Repsol Honda of Andrew ZH, your pole setter, holding on to a net second position here with just under 2 laps now remaining. Look at Luigi 48 GP and Ellie Ghost 555. It's been a very familiar story over the course of this race, and the KTM rider has not managed to get rid of the back of that Movistar Yamaha over the distance of this one. We ride on board them with Ellie Ghost 555. He's attacking. You've got Luigi 48 GP in front, who will have to be defending if that gap does shrink a little bit more.
Yeah, and look at this. We're riding on board with Ellie Ghost T555, even if I could get the username out. He was running a little bit wide there on the entry to that tight right-hander. Did he lose a little bit of time there?
He might have done. It just might have cost him a couple of tenths of a second, and that really is all you need here to lose a couple of tenths of a second. Swomi's had a second crash in this race, so it has been curtains then for the Briton. A very big shame for him in this first semi-final. He's going to have to hope for nothing short of a miracle, really, as these riders come over the line to start their penultimate lap.
Timothy McGarden, though, made his way up to 5th place at the moment. He looks pretty solidly in that 5th place position. Trastevere, is it too little too late?
Well, let's not forget, of course.
Oh, it is too little too late. He's gone down.
Oh, disaster for the reigning champion. Trastevere 73 has crashed out then. We didn't see it on screen, but we saw the graphic, and it is a tumble down the road once again. Not for the first time in this race. Let's not forget as well, Matt, we were mentioning about Timothy McGarden a couple of moments ago. He is one of the riders who is under investigation by Race Direction as well.
Yeah, very true. So we'll have to review that after the race. But Trastevere, well, that was a bit of a commentator's curse, I think it was. I just brought him up and he went down. Not sure if he probably heard me, but look at this. Man out front, Christian MM17, still not letting Andrew ZH get anywhere near him.
And this is exactly what we saw last year from Christian MM17 as well. Once he was out in front, he was pretty much untouchable. He won the semi-final in Valencia last year, and he finished second in the grand final, right when it mattered. Unfortunately, it didn't go too well for him. It's not going too well for Swomi as well.
It's just gone from bad to worse.
It has.
Absolute disaster for him. He can go and talk with Jaume Masia later. He's had a bit of a bad day as well. Bike cutting out on him. These two can go and drown their sorrows together.
Yep, they certainly can. Well, last lap approaching here at the Misano World Circuit. Marco Simoncelli. It's Christian MM17's race to lose. 9/10 of a second is the advantage over Andrew ZH. You're looking at the battle for third position between Luigi 48 GP and Ellie Ghost 555 through turn 1, turn 2.
He's closing in on him in this first sector. He is quick there. This is very tight and twisty, one line. Will he dare to make a move?
He's going to think about it down towards turn number 4. Surely he's going for the outside line. He's going to dart his way up the inside. Not quite through there, but he's really pushing the limits of adhesion. It's going to be a case of if he gets a good exit out of here. Oh, very close. Very close indeed. They're going to try and find a way through down into turn 8, but he's had a poor run crucially onto that back straight, and it's not going to be here at this point in the lap for him.
Will he be harnessing his inner Kevin Schwantz, see God and then brake? No, he wasn't at that time around. He's coming up to that really tight right-hander complex before the back straight. He's got to get a good run on there if he has any chance of taking over that KTM.
Certainly is going to. Bit wide there for Luigi 48 GP as well. Could this be the Italian's undoing now? He's got Ellie Ghost 555 right behind him. This is getting very exciting, and let's see what he's going to be able to do and see whether he's going to find his way past in the last couple of corners.
Oh, no, he goes down!
They come together!
His bike nearly goes to the grandstand. Absolutely unbelievable!
Well, that's big drama there. Just pushing that little bit too hard too soon. And then he goes 555. Looks like he could be out of the grand final at the first point of asking. Out of the final corner, though, comes Christian MM17. A brilliant race and a win for the Spaniard on the Italian bike. A brilliant performance for him. He goes through, he takes victory here. Andrew ZH finishes in second position. Luigi 48 GP in third place. Timothy McGarden finishes in fourth. Adrian 26 in fifth position. And then against all the odds, Ellie Ghost 555, despite that crash, somehow held on to sixth place.
Oh my goodness. Well, we'll have to see what actually happens, what the race director decides about those incidents that are under investigation. But Esports delivering the drama once again. And here in Misano, check out those final results.
Well, these are provisional final results as well, Matt. Let's not forget Race Direction are going to have a bit of a look at some of the incidents that happened on track there. You can see further down the order, races to forget for Juan N816, Trastevere 73, Iotti for Rossi, down from 10th position to 12th place. All those riders from 7th down to 12th not making the cut. Unfortunately, race results to be confirmed. You can see there at the bottom of your screen, that tip tape then means that Race Direction are going to be having a look at some of those incidents which happened on track to see whether there are any penalties that need to be addressed.
Yeah, and look at those times as well. Those are pretty quick, getting even quicker than they were in qualifying. No sorts of issues of major tyre degradation for these guys. Really rapid times, so close throughout the field. What a race I was on. I'm absolutely exhausted. Can someone get me a flannel?
Yeah, absolutely. We need to cool down up here in the commentary box, I'll tell you that for nothing. Juan N816 as well. Interesting to note there, finishing 7th place, just outside of that top 6, as you can see. But he was one of the slower riders on track. In fact, he set the slowest lap time over the course of the race. So it doesn't necessarily mean that outright pace is what mattered in that one. It was just being really in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, and it's much easier if you're following someone to brake where they brake and react to sort of the same time as they do. But my goodness, what drama all over the place. So many crashes. In Race Direction, take a look at the maybe exceeding track limits as well. Oh, I'm just absolutely exhausted. Really gutted to see that, though. Suomi down in 12th place after a disastrous final sort of sector, final part of the race.
Yep, absolutely right there, Matt. And of course, the reigning champion, crucially, out of it as well. He finished down outside of the top 6 to Trastevere 73. A brilliant race, though, for all involved. We're going to be looking at some highlights of this in just a couple of moments' time, Matt. It's going to be a thriller. You're going to be struggling to keep up.
Well, I think the reason why they're a little bit delayed right now is because there were so many highlights to choose from. That's why, Tom. But let's get a look at them then. These are the highlights. It was a cracking start, but just check out all this drama in that first sector. Absolutely unreal. Trastevere got absolutely caught up in amongst the pack, wiped down by everybody as in that first sort of section or so. Just carnage all over the place. Adrian 26 going down the background. And where did Trevor Sterry go down? Oh, we couldn't actually see that there as we cut out from the footage. But it was Christian MM17 who led the way from very early on. And I tell you what, he did not look back. It was it was Trevor Sterry going down in the background then on the run onto the back straight. That Yamaha there, though, ever present in the run for the podium. Still waiting for these results to be confirmed by Race Direction. Look at this, the run onto the back straight. Super fast as we head into that right-hander. Got to be very careful there as to not cut track limits. Andrew ZH overtaking there Timothy McGarden. What a move that was. Really neat lines on the exit there, not to be taken back by McGarden, just on the exit. Meanwhile, Christian MM17 maintaining that 8/10 of a second gap throughout that first sector. Real masterclass it was, as Tom said. Oh, just we saw the overtakes there. Ellie Ghost at 555, just losing out there to Luigi 48 GP. My goodness, what action we have seen there. The Repsol Honda with that fluorescent yellow. Not seen that for some decades now, have we? Ever present up there in the leading positions. Look at the face of concentration there. As we there's so much action throughout the field as well. Perhaps some more moves being under investigation by Race Direction. So much to go through, so much drama throughout that field. Onto the 6th lap then, and it was the KTM versus the Yamaha, still battling at it, hammer and tong. We all know how that ended in the final lap. Near disaster for the Yamaha, but that Ducati, the reigning champion, was still trying to make his way through the field. Taking a bit too much notice of what was going on in front of him. He didn't see that Aprilia coming right up behind him, sneaking up the inside, and it was 2 for 1 because there was the Pramac Ducati up the inside of him there. Absolutely messed up his run onto the back straight completely. There was absolute drama for the Team Estrella Galicia Mark VDS bike. He was down and out. That was him out of the running for that particular position. And you just a little bit heard me and Tom get a little bit excited there from the highlights as well. This was the final sector or so. As we were in the final lap, you're about to see some major drama as we head down towards turn 8 between that KTM and the Yamaha. Luigi 48 GP just held his line securely. The Yamaha sends it, well, pretty much into space. My goodness me, how about that for last lap drama? But Ellie Ghost 555 managed to keep that spot in the top 6. Thank goodness for him. But it was Christian MM17 crossing the line to take a very dominant victory. He is through to Valencia. What a race we have just had here in Misano. Still waiting for those results to be confirmed by Race Direction, though. So much to go through. And yeah, I bet you need some new tape on your nose, son, as do I after that. Thank you very much for the entertainment, boys.
Very, very impressive stuff here at the Misano World Circuit, Marco Simoncelli. Thank you so much to Matt as well up in the commentary box. And now it does give me great pleasure to welcome on the top 6 finishers in the MotoGP eSport semi-final 1 here at the Misano World Circuit, Marco Simoncelli. So in fact, actually, I've just had a word in my ear that we won't be mentioning it just yet because, of course, we're still waiting for the final results to come through there, Amy. So it really was a very exciting race, that one. And, of course, race direction just having to take a little bit longer to decide who finished where.
We saw all of that drama going on in the first lap. I mean, our reigning world champion caught up in that. Who would have thought Trastevere here would be not in the final? Like, wow.
It's really exciting, isn't it? Very unpredictable, and that is exactly why eSport is so popular at the moment, especially with the MotoGP eSport Championship as well. It's been an incredible season so far. That was just a bit of a taster, really, as to what we've got to come over the latter half of this season.
I mean, I think if people weren't a fan of eSport before, you can't argue with action like that. It is as close to what happens out there on track and what we're going to be seeing throughout the weekend as you're going to get it. Let's have a quick word on our current winner, Christian MM17. It doesn't look as though there'll be too much to kind of contradict that at all. He clearly led every single lap there. But what a weekend he's had. Started off with a go-karting accident. The poor thing got a broken nose.
Yeah. Exactly. It really has been a bit of a challenging weekend for Christian MM17. And if we look back to last year, he was one of the competitors who was in the grand final in Valencia, and he was pretty electric, really, over the few days. And his undoing, really, was just the grand final. It all came undone for him there, where he finished in second place, didn't take that grand prize. And we were really rooting for him. We thought he was going to be the favourite going into that one, but he's turned things around here. He's automatically through to that grand final, and he has been untouchable in practice, in qualifying, there and thereabouts. And it has been a very impressive performance from him.
I guess the one thing we should point out, though, that this isn't the last chance, even for the men sat on this stage. They can take part in the upcoming challenges that are remaining, and which will then qualify them for that second semi-final. We will fill you in on more details on that a little bit later on before we close down. So all is not lost.
No, absolutely right. There are 4 more challenges to come, which we'll fill you in a little bit later on with. But we're going to be having a look at that, as we said, a little bit later on, finding out who has finished, who will be taking on what challenges in which particular order. And as you said, these guys who perhaps didn't make their way through can get themselves in with a chance of making themselves into that second semi-final happening at the start of October at the Movistar Esports Centre in Madrid.
Okay, Matt, I think we're coming back up to you, potentially for confirmation of race results.
Yeah, it seems so. Near enough confirmation, though we do have some time penalties applied to Ivan Avella and also Paul IG for some discrepancy during that races. Can't exactly recall which one. The race director will certainly know better than I do. But some time penalties for them, but that has no effect. The top 6 are completely confirmed. They are as they were on those results, and they will be going through to Valencia. The grand final, the other 6, they get another crack at the whip, ready to try and get their way into Madrid, into the next semi-final, and make their way to Valencia there.
Matt, thank you very, very much indeed. An incredible performance then, and thank you for his commentary as well. Give him a round of applause here, ladies and gentlemen. It really has been a brilliant performance from Matt Dunn. So we do need then to welcome the top 6 finishers from the MotoGP eSports semi-final 1 onto the stage. And we can have them in ascending order from first down to 6th position closest to me. So if I could welcome on stage Christian MM17, Andrew ZH, Luigi 48GP, Timothy McGarden, Adrian 26, and Ellie Ghost 555. Give them a round of applause as they come onto stage. Brilliant stuff. Great to have them all here. Absolutely incredible. And Christian MM17, well, it was a brilliant performance from him. Where is Christian? There we are. We set him up here. Christian, an incredible performance from you. A challenging weekend, as we said, with the karting accident you had at the start of it, but it all came good for you in that semi-final, didn't it?
The race was very difficult. Fortunately, the start was very well, and I came to make some gap. And then I have to go very, very fast because Andrew also very, very, very fast. But fortunately, I can win this race.
Incredible performance from you, and of course it doesn't really stop there. He hasn't just got the glory of this as well here, Amy. He's got a special prize here from this evening as well.
He has indeed. Christian, it's time for you to receive your special award from BMW. Before we do that though, we would like our lovely ladies to hand out all of our finalists here this evening their qualifying caps. So congratulations once again to all of our finalists here up on the stage.
Brilliant. So they're being handed out with the Michelin caps, as you can see. They'll be placing them on their heads. Probably going to be a bit sweaty. They'll have to stick them in the wash after this one as well. It really was very hot under the collar for those guys after that one. Seems to be fitting quite well, though.
There we go. Right, time for the big prize for Christian. Are you ready? So you are receiving from BMW a once-in-a-lifetime driving experience at the Nürburgring. Pretty impressive if you ask me. And here to award your prize, Vladimir Bistroboda, the BMW M Head of Corporation MotoGP, if he would like to come and join us on the stage to hand out the award.
Let's give him a round of applause. Fantastic stuff. Let's get them to pose for a few photographs as well. Absolutely brilliant stuff. Congratulations to Christian. Congratulations to all of our semi-finalists who have made their way through automatically into that grand final. It's been an incredible performance from them today, and it certainly isn't over yet as well. They've got another opportunity, or the competitors who perhaps didn't make their way through, and perhaps if you're watching this at home and fancy getting yourself involved in the MotoGP Esport Championship, well, good news, because there is time. We've got 4 more challenges left on the calendar for you to partake in, and we're going to run you through them now and tell you exactly how you can get involved in the MotoGP Esport Championship for the remainder of 2018. Well, let's have a look then at the challenges, shall we? Because it has been an incredible performance from all of these guys. As we said, 4 more challenges for them to partake in before the end of the season. Challenge 5, the next one will be up, and it will be Jack Miller at the Phillip Island circuit, his native home track. You'll be able to have a go on the Alma Pramac Ducati around there, trying to set the fastest lap time on either of the 3 platforms that we have available in the MotoGP Esport Championship. Challenge 6, though, sees this man here, a certain Valentino Rossi at Mugello. A brilliant track, a brilliant way to get yourself involved in that, and you can set yourself the fastest lap time there. Then we have our only wet challenge on the calendar. This is at Sepang on Johan Zarco's Yamaha M1, the Tech 3 machine. Of course, he finished on the podium there last year. Can you get yourself inside the top 3 to get onto that grand final? We've got Challenge 8 as well, which is Andrea Dovizioso at the brand new Buriram International Circuit in Thailand. That will be the last challenge out of the 8. The top 3, of course, from each of those challenges will go through, so we'll have another 12 gamers at the final there, Amy. It really is incredibly exciting.
Well, this is how we look leaving here tonight in Misano. Let's take a look. Our second semi-final, as we mentioned, will take place later this year at another live event in Madrid. Tom, I'm in Malaysia, so I'm going to hand over the reins to you. Good luck.
Well, thank you very much. You're quite brave to be doing that as well there, Amy. So it is going to be a very, very exciting time here at the MotoGP Esport Championship. So thank you ever so much for joining us this evening. Congratulations to our 6 semi-finalists. Hopefully we'll see some of you in Madrid on the 2nd of October for that second semi-final. Let's have a look at, quickly, just by the way, at the final confirmation of the final standings. You can see there on your screen at the moment the top 6 riders who have made their way through into that final. On the right-hand side of that, though, there are still 6 blank spaces, so you could be getting yourself involved in that if you manage to qualify in the top 3 positions in either of the remaining 4 challenges. As we said, 12 places up for grabs. The top 6, as we have done with semi-final 1, will go through in semi-final 2, and that will decide the 12 fastest competitors going through to the grand final in the MotoGP Esport Championship in 2018. It's going to be very unpredictable if tonight has been anything to go by, and it is going to be an incredible way to get yourself involved in this MotoGP Esport Championship. Championship. All of these guys have had an incredible time here this evening. Lots of the public who've been watching have had an incredible time here this evening, haven't they, Amy? And thank you so much for joining me. Have fun in Malaysia. I'll keep it nice and safe for you in Madrid, and we'll see you all next time. Thank you so much for joining us here for semi-final 1 of the MotoGP Esport Championship in 2018. I'll see you on the 2nd of October in Madrid for semi-final 2.